Hind everyone. My name is Ashish Dixit. So today's topic is the metadata. In a data warehouse and data mining, you will use the concept of the metadata. Okay. And this subject is also running in BTech Computer Science and Engineering in a AI ML branch, Artificial Intelligence branch. So concept is arise, what is a metadata? And metadata is about the data or documentation about the information which is required by the user in data warehousing. Metadata is one of the essential aspects. You can say that metadata is just like a documentation of the any record. Through the documentation, through the data, we will get the information of a particular record. Without the metadata or without the information, you can't imagine what the basic purpose of the particular documentation. Okay, so metadata includes the following types of concepts, like the location of description of the warehouse system and component. First of all, it's a very necessary part. Without the location information, it's can't be possible that you will be handle the data. Means the location and description of the warehouse system and component. It's a very necessary. Second thing, a name definition, structure and content of the data warehouse and end user views. It's also a very, very important concept that without the name, you can't search any data. Without the proper structure, you can't be handle the data. Without the knowing of the information of the particular data, you can't explain, because if you don't have a proper definition of the data, what's the basic purpose of the data, you can't imagine how it will be properly done. Okay. Then third thing is the identification of the authoritative data sources. Means identification of the authoritative, authentic data hai ki nahi hai. Third things. Then integration and transformation rules used to populate the data. It's a very, very important concept. The integration and transformation. Integration means how to integrate different types of component in a one type component, in a one type function. Second thing, transformation, because if your data, first of all, about the data will work on the behalf of transformation, because suppose that one data is here and one data is another, then it will be transformed from one part to another part. Okay. Fifth things, a integration and transformation rule used to deliver the information to end user analytical tools. Means concept, if you have a data, the data will be work on the behalf of integration and transformation. Second thing, end user will be work on the behalf of analytical tools that your data information will be useful for a particular purpose or not. If it will be useful, then end user will be analytic of the particular tools, through the particular tools of your particular data. Next thing, a subscription information for the information delivery to analysis subscribers. Okay, means a particular data will be analysis or by the subscriber, by the users, okay, by the end users. Then metrics used to analyze warehouse uses and performance. Metrics used to analyze warehouse uses and the performance. Next, security authorization and access control listing. Means it's a very, very important. If your data is not secured, then your whole database will be crashed. The theft, whole database will be theft. So security is a very, very important, crucial part. We can say that it's a very crucial part, that is security, authorization and access control. So we can say that here we will discuss about the different types of examples of the metadata that will be used. First, we will take examples of the library. A library catalog may be considered metadata. The directory metadata consists of several predefined components and representing a specific attributes of a source, and each item can have one or more values. These components could be the name of the author and the name of the document, the publisher's name, the publication date, and the method to which it belongs. Second thing, the table of the contents and the index in a book may be treated as a metadata for the book. The table of contents and index in a book may be treated as a metadata for the book because they have the information of the particular data. Next thing, suppose we say that a data item about a person in 80, this must be defined by the noting that it is a person weight and the unit in a kilogram. Unit is a kilogram. Therefore, weight kilogram is the metadata about data in is 80. So another examples, we can say that metadata are data about the tables and figures. In the report like this book, a table which is a record that also have the name in a table, like a table title, and there are column names of the tables may be treated as a metadata. The figure also have the titles or a name. Next thing, why metadata necessary in a data warehouses? Main thing, why metadata necessary in the data warehouses? First, it acts as the glue that links all parts of the data warehouse. Okay. First, it acts the glue that link all parts of the data warehouse. Means a metadata that will be glue that will be interrelated with all data warehouse. Next, it provides the information about the contents and structure to the developers. Okay, it provides information about the contents and structure of the data to the developers. Next thing, finally, it opens the doors to the end user and makes the contents recognizable in their terms. Okay. Finally, it's opened the doors to the end users and make the contents recognizable in the terms. Okay, so metadata is like a nerve center, various process during the building and administrating the data warehouse, generate the parts of the data warehouse metadata. Another uses parts of metadata generated by one process. In the data warehouse, a metadata assumes a key position and enables the communication among various methods. It acts as a nerve center in the data warehouse. So here, this is the concept of the data warehouse, that data warehouse also include a sources systems. Okay. It's also have the sources system. Second thing, query tools. Suppose that if you have a collection of storage of the whole data, then in a whole data we have a multiple types of tools. Okay, first tools is a sources system. Second, query tools. Sources system means a location of the generation, a generative data, where in which place our data will be generated. This is called a source system. Query tools. Suppose that you have a whole data, a large amount of data, but you want to filter some types of data through the query, structured query language. Then we will consider a query tools. Which types of report will be declared through the reporting tools. Next thing, online analytical processing tools. How to analysis of a particular data by the OLAP. Next thing, data mining concept means how to refine a important data that will be used for a particular task. Then data mining process is also work for the mining of the particular data. Next thing, application. Which types of important application will be applied for a data warehouse metadata. Next, external data. Which types of tools, which types of external data will be used, that here we will analyze. Then data load function. How to load a particular data from outside or inside. This process is also work on the data load function. Next thing, a transformation tools means it will be transfer from one portion to another portion, and for transferring of these techniques we will use a particular tools. This is called the transformation tools. Cleansing technique, cleansing tools, that will be here we will remove a whole unrelative data, will be clear unrelative data of your database. Means suppose that it's if you have unnecessary data in your system and you will be clean the data, the cleansing tools that will be clean your unnecessary data through the cleansing tool. Then extraction tools. If you want to fetch a particular instruction and how to extract these information, then these information will be extract through the extraction tools. Okay. So a data warehouse metadata is a combination of these types of reporting tools, these types of tools: source system, queries tools, reporting tools, OLAP tools, data mining tools, applications, external data, data load function, transformation tools, cleansing tools, and extraction tools. Okay, data warehouse metadata. These are a data warehouse, the metadata. So here we will discuss about the types of the metadata. If you can say that the types of metadata, then here we will discuss about the only 3 types of metadata. First is a operational metadata. Operational metadata means you want to perform a different types of information on your ERP, on your MIS, on your CRM, then different types of operation will be used. Suppose that you want to fetch the any information, you want to transfer one information from one place to another place, you want to communication from one place to another place. Then what is this? These are all different types of operation. These are called the operational data. Second point, this is the first point, second point, and third point. Second point is the extraction and transformation metadata. How to extract and transform one data to another data. Means how to fetch important information through the database. Second thing, transformation data means transform a data from one portion to another portion, one form to another form. Next thing, end user metadata. End user metadata means end user metadata is also considered for a customer, client. These are also called which types of information they will be handled, which types of information then will be created. These are also called end user metadata. So here we will discuss about the operational metadata. Operational metadata, as we know that the data for the data warehouse comes from the various operational system of the enterprise. These sources system include different data structures. The data elements selected for the data warehouse various field length and the data type. In selecting information from the source system for the data warehouse, we divide records, combine factor of the documents from the different source files, and deal with that multiple coding schemes and field length. When we deliver the information to the end user, we must be able to tie that back to the source data set. Operational metadata contain all of this information about the operational data sources. Next thing, extraction and transformation metadata. Which types of technique will be used for extraction and transformation? Extraction and transformation metadata include data about the removal of the data from the source system, namely the extraction frequencies, extraction method, and business rules for the data extraction. Also, this category of the metadata contains the information about all the data transformation that takes place in the data staging area. Okay. Next thing is a end user metadata. End user metadata is the navigational map of the data warehouse. It enables the end users to find data from the data warehouse. End user metadata allows the end users to use their business terminology and look for the information in those ways in which they usually think of the business. Okay, these are called the end user metadata. So again, we will use the next thing, the next concept, metadata interchange initiative. Okay, so the metadata interchange, the initiative was proposed to bring industry vendors and users together to address a variety of severe problems and issues concerning exchange sharing and managing metadata. The goal of metadata interchange standard is to define as an extensible mechanism that will be allow the vendor to exchange the metadata, to exchange the standard metadata, as well as carry long proprietary metadata, and the founding members agreed on the following initial goal. First, creating a vendor independent industry defined and maintained standard access mechanism and application programming interface API for metadata. Next thing, enabling users to control and manage the access and manipulation of the metadata in their unique environment through the use of interchange standards compliant tools. Users are allowed to build tools that meet their needs and also will enable them to adjust according to those tools configuration. Next thing, allowing individual tools to satisfying their metadata requirement freely and efficiently within the contents of an interchange model. Next thing, describing a simple, clean implementation in infrastructure which will facilitate compliance and speed up the adoption by the minimizing the amount of the modification. Next thing, to create a procedure and process not only for the maintaining and establishing the interchange standard and specific, but also for updating and extending its over time. Okay, these are an interchange initiative. Next, metadata interchange standard framework. So here we will discuss the standard framework for the metadata interchange standard metadata model implementation. Assume that the metadata itself may be stored in storage format of and type ASCII files, relational tables, fixed customized format. It is a framework that is based on a framework that will be translate an access request into the standard interchange index. Several approaches have been proposed in a metadata interchange condition. Okay, first, procedural approach. Second thing, ASCII batch approach. Third thing, hybrid approach. First, in a procedural approach, the communication with API built into the tools, it enables the highest degree of the flexibility. Second thing, ASCII batch approach, instead of relying on ASCII file format which contains information, various metadata items and standardized access requirement that make up the interchange standard metadata model. Next thing, in a hybrid approach, it's follow a data-driven model. Then component of the metadata interchange frameworks. First, standard metadata. It refers to the ASCII file format which is used to represent the metadata is being exchanged. Second thing, standard access framework that describes the minimum number of API function. And third thing, tool profile which is provided by each tool vendors. Next, the user configuration is a file explaining the legal interchange path for the metadata in the file in the user's environment. So this is the metadata interchange standard framework. So here, this is the standard metadata model. Then outside the standard API Then third thing, standard access framework. And last thing, user configuration. Here we will use different types of tools, and these tools also associated with different types of tools profile. Okay, these tools profile will work on the bidirectionals through this system. Next, a repository, metadata itself is housed in and controlled by the metadata repository. The software of the metadata repository management can be used to map the source data to the target database, integrate and transform the data, generate code of the data transformation, and move the data to the warehouse. Benefits of the repository tools: it provides a set of tools for enterprise-wide metadata management. It eliminates and reduces inconsistency, redundancy, and underutilization. Next thing, it improves the organization, control, it simplifies management and accounting of the information assets. It increases coordination, understanding, identification, and utilization of the information assets. It enforces case development standard with the ability to share and reduce the metadata. Next thing, its leverage is investment in legacy system and utilize existing applications. It provides a relational model for heterogeneous RDBMS to share the information. Next thing, it gives useful data administration tools to manage corporate information assets with their data dictionary. It increases reliability, control, and flexibility of the application development process. So, thank you very much. Students, if you face any confusion, then comment in a comment box. Thank you very much.